Hello everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another indie comic book review. And as you guys can see, it is officially a doubleheader. We're going to have this gigantic, biggest indie review of 2015 thus far, even though we're only in January's books. Not only will we be having the books from the week of
January 28, 2015.
We have 3 books from January 21st, 2015, which are mostly mine. I think one is yours, the other 2 are mine.
No, I think 2 are mine and 1 is
One.
yours. Yeah, 1 is yours.
No, 2 are mine, I believe.
Anyway,
We'll figure it out when we get to it. And on top of that, we actually have another book we're going to start reviewing. My good friend, Dirk Manning, actually shared with us a lot of his work that he's done through the years. There's a lot of trade paperbacks, and we actually have 2 comic series that we're going to be covering now.
Right.
Unfortunately, due to the amount of comics I had to read this week, I had to read the 21st, I had to finish those off, and then I had to read this week's books. I was not able to finish my book, which I will be getting into next week. But till then, Michael read his chapter early, so Michael will be reviewing Nightmare World, Volume 1, 13 Tales of Terror. So there's 13 chapters with 13 different tales of terror,
Yep.
all written by Dirk Manning.
Right.
And we're going to be doing it chapter by chapter, but due to the fact that I think this first chapter was a bit short, we might be doubling up the chapters after this review. This book comes out of Image Comics. You can check it out on Amazon.com. I'll leave a link in the description below for the book on Amazon if you're interested in checking it out. Really awesome stuff. I did skim through. I've read through a bit of the book, but unfortunately I haven't read the entire book yet, and Mike wanted to do review Volume 1 of Nightmare World, so I'll probably be doing Volume 2. But anyway, the link is there if you're interested in checking it out. Also, Dirk Manning appears at almost every Comic-Con that is a huge Comic-Con, so if you see him there, he always has a set of all the books that he's written. I will be reviewing Tales of Mr. E Volume 1, Issue 1 next week, once I finish reading it, and I'll be going all the way through Volume 1 and starting Volume 2. Volume 2 has its last issue coming out soon, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so anyway, let's get into this book. We're in Chapter 1, The Same Deep Water as You. It's illustrated by Len O'Grady. Each chapter has a different artist, I believe, so how was this issue?
The issue was really amazing.
I said issue, this chapter.
The chapter, yeah. It's about 2 people, Emma and Brendan, who are stranded out in the middle of nowhere on a boat. And Emma's pregnant with Brendan's baby, but we get a little bit of information about why it's bad that she's pregnant, because underneath the water, there's this thing called the Narrow. And the Narrow is like something that's really like, something that is, like basically, when a woman is pregnant afterwards.
That's cool. That's really cool artwork.
And what they want is the baby. And basically, the Narrow would take the baby away from her. Then he's regretting ever having her get impregnated, and basically he winds up. That looks like he's killing himself, and you think that he disappeared. So it could be one way or the other. But what I want to say is, though, I really like, that's the whole short story of that, but I really like the artwork. The story was really interesting, and you know, I'm definitely looking forward to reading more chapters, because now that we'll be doing 2 chapters for each indie review, I'll be definitely looking into it. Dirk Manning did an awesome job so far from what I've read, and I'm really looking forward to reading more about
the next 2 chapters I actually read through. You're going to find those very interesting when you get to them.
I'll be definitely
especially the second one. I did like the second one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for Nightmare World Volume 1, Chapter 1. Really awesome stuff. I would highly recommend you guys check it out. Like I said, link will be in the description for Chapter 1.
Yep.
Volume 1.
Yeah.
And now we're going into the books from the week of the 21st.
Starting with Archie Comics, Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 2068. Champions, part 1 of 4, which is a brand new story arc.
Champions!
Yes, and basically what Champions is about is that, well, actually, you know what, I'll get into the book because I don't want to get, I don't want to make it sound confusing, but we get a little bit of a backstory of how Sonic met with Breezy, because in the last issue, we saw her at the end of the book. So there is the Chaos Emerald Championship that's going on at the Casino Park Arena. And basically the winner of that gets the Chaos Emerald, and we know why Sonic needs it, because it could save the world. So Amy, Sonic, and Tails enter it, knowing that Breezy's in it. And I like Breezy's character as well as the artwork. I'll show more. Like, Dr. Eggman just yells at her, and then she's like, yeah, just put a lid on it. I do what I want when I want. That's what I like about her character. The only one that just could step up to Dr. Eggman. However, not just them, the Hooligans actually are in it too, because in the Great Chaos Caper, which was Knuckles' story, they were almost at the brink of getting the Chaos Emerald, so they're joining in as well. Meanwhile, Amy meets up with her idol. I can't remember what her name is.
Honey.
Yeah, Honey the cat. And they actually have this
I love how he doesn't know when I look down.
conversation. Yeah, thank you. That's why I always need a second person to help me out. And they're just talking about the tournament where there's someone else that's going to be entering too. And who is that? Well, that would be known as Knuckles. Now, if they have a match, Sonic versus Knuckles, I would be interested in seeing that happen. Because anything could happen of the matchups of what's going to happen. And it's 4 parts, so looking really good. I'm definitely looking forward to reading the next one. So definitely something for the kids to read as well. Alright, next book is Xenoscopes of Realm War Age of Darkness, issue 6 of 12.
I guess you were right.
Yeah, the halfway point to concluding the Realm War series.
And we had 4 books from the week of the 21st. Because there's
4.
I said 3. Yeah.
We had a long day today. So it talks about how they said that Shang supposedly died, but we know that that really didn't happen because of
Grim Fairy Tales, yeah.
Right, the book that actually gave it away. And Robin Hood is in it as well, and her character is just really going to the dark side. And we have this interesting character, Malik, who is being really an interesting character in this one because he wants to know how to kill, he basically just wants to kill, I think Robin? No. Oh, the Dark Queen, actually, because
I figured it was the Dark Queen. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Because Robin is Lucina's daughter, as from what I heard from the story. And then Sela is all, broken up and trying to, get over the fact that Shang might be dead. By the way, I'll show you some artwork. I don't want to show that page because I don't want to ruin it. Because the Dark Queen, yeah.
I figured.
I'm not going to spoil it. So, just not to give too much away of the book, Sela goes into the forest to try to, get, just to shake off what happened. But she's saying, let's just finish this Dark Queen once and for all because I have the weapons and I've had enough of what she's doing. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give too much away.
And this was the halfway point because there's only 6 more issues to come after this.
So this issue, I would highly recommend you check it out because it's...
Realm War is going very well for Xenoscope.
And the artwork, as always, just amazing. And this is your book.
Charmed issue number 4. Now, Patrick Shaman was very worried with this book because in this book there is a death at the end. I'm not going to spoil it, even though this is a week late and everybody, even Jay on the live show talked about it. If you're interested in knowing who dies, go check out the live show. I believe Jay had this. I know Jay had this on his top 5. So if you're interested in hearing who dies, definitely check it out. But the Charmed ones are preparing for the worst because this lower demon now has this dagger and he's now able to kill the Charmed ones with it easily. So really a lot of it is just them being on high alert, and then they get one of the husbands, I believe, gets kidnapped by the demon. I forgot the demon's name. I don't even know if they gave his name, but here's a good piece of art right here.
Yeah, that's
really good artwork.
Page.
But it's hard to give... I don't want to say too much because it gives too much away, but there's a lot of action towards the end because they try to get the dagger back, and then you think one person's going to die, but it turns out that somebody else steps in. I felt like in the middle of the book, it was telegraphed a little bit. Like in this scene right here, I think it was a bit telegraphed who was going to die. But this whole book focused around, okay, we all knew somebody was going to die in this issue, so the question was who was it? And it was like playing up all the characters, putting them all in situations where any one of them could have been that person, and then the big reveal at the end of the book. I think Patrick Shan did an excellent job, and as a person who's not watched Charmed on TV at all, and has only read Season 10 fully of Charmed, I can definitely say that that was masterful writing, for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next issue, because it all happened in the last page, and I believe, from what Jay says, issue 5 is going to take up right where this issue left off, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. Alright, this book,
The Return!
Yeah, this is a return book of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Color Classics, Volume 3, Issue number 1. I was so hyped.
Yeah, when I saw it, I told Michael, and he jumped for joy because he said Volume 2 was cut short.
It's been such a long time. And it's called Shades of Grey for this one. And basically, it's just the Turtles, you know, three of them, because Donatello was working on something. The three of them just going out and doing their training. Well, no, not training, to meet up with Casey Jones, and they have to meet him at a certain amount of time before he leaves. So, they had to meet him at Central Park somewhere. So, he meets up Casey with 3 thugs right here. Here's the artwork, which I love the artwork.
I'm not a fan of the cover art really too much, but I like the internal artwork. Oh. Who does the cover, do they say?
Oh, the cover? Cover art, A.C. Farley.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he gets in a fight with them, and here's something that shocked me, though. Casey actually killed one of the thugs, accidentally, because the guilt inside of him, and there was this mystery person who thought that he was a bad guy, and like, I felt his character just saying, you know, like, I killed a kid, like, you know, why I do that? Like, I never really thought that Casey had that,
I believe it was an accident.
Well, no, it was an accident. I just felt his character, like, saying, wow, he actually, you know, because I never thought he had that feeling, you know, towards that happening. And this mysterious person tries to take him out and everything, and, the Turtles are saying, you know, he's not a killer, you know, what he did was probably self-defense, and Raphael, you know how he's just saying, you know, you don't know jack about anything, because they mentioned about See Tales of the TMNT issue 2, when they met back at the place there, and then afterwards, he lets Casey go, but, oh wow, you feel for this character, like, you feel his pain and the guilt.
Now, this issue must have been delayed, because we're done now with the week of the 21st, and we're now going into, officially, this week's books. And we're going to kick off, actually, I'm going to kick it off, actually. I didn't know I had this next, but okay, whatever. Just go with the final issue of the mashup between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters. Let's try this again. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, issue number 4, the final issue. So, Chi-Yu attacks the Ghostbusters and the Turtles at the firehouse. This is an action-packed issue. It's awesome. So you got the Turtles and the crew, minus Egon, who's working on the portal with Donatello, and Ray working on something else. He runs off because he's got something else that he's planning. Basically, we know all the demons were converted humans from Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu actually converted them into demons. So Ray's working on a way to free all of them from Chi-Yu's control, and that's when he shows up. And out of nowhere, this is the part that I didn't get. Casey Jones just pops up and goes, "Oh hey, I wonder what this." Casey just screws with Chi-Yu left and right. I like it. I thought it was awesome. I'm not gonna say how he got captured. There is a possession in this book. One of the Ghostbusters gets possessed by Chi-Yu for a small time. I love how they put Ghostbusters 2 references in here, too, with the feel-good ooze. Remember the goo?
The purple goo, I think, right? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, long story short, the Turtles get to go back home. Chi-Yu gets thrown, literally, light years away from Earth. And everybody's happy. The end. This was a really good miniseries. I enjoyed it. The artwork was spectacular. I did show you guys some. I did show artwork, right?
Yeah, you did.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you did.
Here's some more artwork. I love the cover.
It's still sad to see the Ghostbusters go.
Yeah, this officially was the last comic book to have the Ghostbusters.
Unless something comes out.
For the next couple of months, I don't believe there's any solicits for Ghostbusters. So, unfortunately, this is the last Ghostbuster issue. But I think that this was done really well. I like the mashup between Ghostbusters and Turtles. Did you have to read this book? No. Does it impact either universe? No. This was just a really nice story. That's self-contained, 4 issues. If you like the Turtles, if you like Ghostbusters, if you like me and you like both, this was a treat. If you don't like either, you didn't have to read it. Or if you're reading just Turtles and you don't like Ghostbusters, you didn't have to read it. And if you read just Ghostbusters and you don't like Turtles, you could have read it for the Ghostbuster parts. All in all, a really good book. Definitely recommend you guys check out the miniseries. It'll probably be out in trade paperback next by the end of this month.
All right, Dark Horse Comics Tomb Raider, issue number 12. And in this comic book, really interesting stuff happened in this one where Mr. Cruz was talking about the Edgar Ramel guy who he sent to go after Lara Croft the killer. Meanwhile, Lara Croft is, you know, still about this whole that she does like archaeologist stuff, and actually her friend, what was her name? Sam actually helps her to bring her confidence about doing good on the stage, and during dress time, you know, she gets flowers from someone that says, "We have cats, Miss Croft, and you know, just see us at the Southwest and so, and come alone, your friend Cruz." So she goes running off in the underground train station where Ramel actually follows her. I'll call him Ramel. And I'm kind of thinking, gee, is he really, like, protecting her, or is he just saying that? So here's some artwork, which is drawn really awesomely. And she comes face to face with Mr. Cruz. And Ramel actually helps her to take out both Mr. Cruz and his men. And I was like, wow. Like, I could see a team-up happen here. But Lara Croft always saying, you know, knowing that whoever she's with, someone dies, well, I'm going to spoil this. Ramel gets killed by a train, and he does it himself. Because he wanted her to join him and stuff like that, but he just says, you don't know me and I don't know you, so no. Wow. I thought that there was going to be a whole, like, team thing going on, like in Angel Darkness. I always bring up Angel Darkness when I see her teaming up with a male, because that's what it reminds me of.
And did you notice it's issue 12, so it's been a full year of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but I don't like the part where Gail Simone is not writing anymore in whatever issue it was.
This is the issue. This is the last issue.
Why? I loved your story. Why?
Well, they're setting up for Tomb Raider 2. Tomb
No,
Raider.
I'm... Well, which one?
The next game that's coming out at the end of the year.
I know. I just like to work, you know. But great book, Gail Simone, and hope maybe she'd come back from
maybe she will come back right after they do the prequel for the game.
Alright, we're going back to Color Classics of IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of Volume 3, Issue number 2.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think issue 1 was delayed, because normally we don't get 2 issues in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we get the part where April's talking to her sister Robyn about what's been going on, and, you know, like, she's just said, she's just been meeting with this guy, and she wants to have a normal life, and Splinter just said, just leave, if that's what you want. And then Casey just still having the effects and the guilt of what happens. He doesn't know about April leaving, because she met this guy from issue number 1. So he meets up with Donatello on the log, right here. And all works still great. And you know him, he's just still like, you know, like what are you doing here? And he acts like a real jerk towards Donnie, but because of him being drunk and not sober, Donnie's like saying, look, just go back and just, you know, get sober before things get tough if you do something. And they have a little bit of a fight where Donnie just beat it out of him. because Casey started it. So the three turtles, Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo, are training, and they hear about something going on at a some type of building, and they go to check it out, where they meet up with this police guy, where Casey meets up with a policeman saying that, that it wasn't your fault because it was all in self-defense and all that stuff. So he just you just still feel it in this book, and it was really excellent. I really enjoyed it.
I like how they have the mask again in the cover.
Yeah, the mask thing on the cover, yeah. But I think that this book's going to mostly focus on that and how he's going. I'm waiting for him to go to Splinter.
That's probably the next issue.
Yeah, because I want to see how he could help him, like to get over that, like to tell him it's not your fault and everything. I could hear it.
I like this book. I especially like the ending. Now, I know you're reviewing it,
yeah.
but I thought the ending was really interesting.
To be honest, in Xenoscope, by the way, the Jungle Book, issue 2 of 5.
It's up to Mowgli to unite all the tribes, and I love how what happened to Shere Khan in the book.
Yeah, But I actually read this book, and I found it to be, I'm not saying it was bad, before anyone says anything and before you say anything.
Because I'm going to say something.
I felt it was average.
I think it was really good.
Alright, I'm just saying.
And I like the artwork.
Not in a bad way, I said in a good way, and I like the origin of Ka, the snake, and the whole thing where Mowgli is trying to
what was gruesome with this scene where the volcano erupted and those I forgot what animals they were. They just stood there. They sat there as the lava just poured down the.
Yeah, and and Bagheera and Mowgli just.
That was dark.
That was dark actually about that. I want to show some artwork that doesn't have blood or violence, and one of the elephants die in this book. I forgot what the name was. Well, the son was Hata, I believe. No, I can't remember the name because I just like the action pack and everything that goes on, and yeah, this is good.
The ending ends with a really good cliffhanger with the monkeys, and I like the Baloo part too. That was
Baloo was really interesting. I just don't want to give too much away, but there's a really interesting thing that does happen in the end of this issue.
Definitely leading into a really interesting issue next for the next issue.
Yeah, but like I said, I want you guys to read the book because
I love Jungle Book. I love Volume 1.
No, it was good.
Volume 2, Cindy, I think,
yes.
reviewed, so it's okay. Plastics will rip.
Yeah. But definitely check out the book, and the artwork was amazing as always. This is all Xenoscope now. Dark Shaman, Part 404, the last issue of this story. Hopefully they will make more of these, actually, of Dark Shaman. And in this book, Colby is just basically ready to fight off against, her brother, who is doing all this, killing and everything. And
Who was her father?
No. My brother.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, he just gets all these animals together, and her brother and everything, and there's just a whole big thing that happens where there's like lots of action packed and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm gonna show some artwork that isn't that gruesome. And I can't remember who the guy was that's with her.
That's her brother, isn't it? Oh, no, that's her boyfriend.
No, that's her boyfriend, yeah. I'm trying to find out what his name was, because, see, now he made me turn back and stuff. Leo helps her out during this whole battle, because he's always helped her through thick and thin throughout this whole issue, actually. And, yeah, this is good. And there's this one scene where she uses a spirit of the white deer that actually is her only offer to help her win against this battle. And in the end, of course, knowing that the first issue was a story, Sela was actually letting them know that, you know, we're not alone. Like, because throughout the whole book, her friends were dying, and the only one that was alive was her boyfriend and her. Well, I believe the boyfriend still stayed alive. And the reason why Sela said we are not alone is, like, basically we'll always be together and just never apart, because it's always good to have surroundings, you know. But really awesome. I would say get in trade paperback. And my favorite book, Robin Hood, issue number 6. I'll get through it, relax. Pushy much. So, Robin Hood. We get a very interesting part of Marion, and, you know, Marion with her powers, and Robin having this dream with Will, which was actually really heartfelt, because it was something she still has this love for since he died. And there's two scenes that happen. There's where Marion goes to this psychic person, whereas Robin Hood goes to counseling to help her out with her problems and everything. So I like how they're showing like 2 pages of what's going on in Marion's point of view and what's going on in Robin's point of view. Of course, both of them, they lied to each other, not telling them where they were going. So that way they wouldn't be worried or anything. A really interesting demon comes where Robin is, and Robin just does what she does best, just literally tearing them limb from limb. And Avella is mentioned in this book, whereas what Marion did for her and everything, and if you want to know everything, read the book to find out. And basically it just leaves off where Robin and Marion are gonna have the therapist, I guess, like the therapist wasn't creeped out about what she did and everything, and that's actually a first for her, because people were always creeped out what she does and stuff. So I think the therapist might be the third person to help him out. So really interesting book. I mean, I can't highly recommend this enough for you guys to get this, because Patrick Shan just does amazing Robin Hood, and I look forward each and every time reading it.
Alright guys, so we went through a lot of books here. Give us just a click of the button, and then we have a bunch of digital stuff to cover. So we will be right back. And we're back, and we're going into the digitals, and we're going into Valiant.
Right.
This is Ivar Time Walker #1. You could get this for free. This was the little mini comic that you could get from Valiant. So I guess this is more of a preview. Mike, you think it's a full book? I think it's a preview.
Well, the full book is talking about Ivar, who is a time traveler, and he goes to this woman who does like all these laboratory stuff, and he knows what she does and everything.
Experiments.
Right, with the experiments, and he tries to prevent her from doing that. So with like everything going on, Ivar just says, you know, to come with me, because you need to know like part of history. 'Cause there's like a whole portal thing that he brings her through. So yeah, I really like the artwork. Yeah, to make history. So it starts off at a pirate ship where they're trying to fight off against. This was like, I believe, in the 1800s, somewhere around there. And she's part of the adventure, and she's trying not to do anything to change this. She's like, I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid it's going to affect history and stuff like that. And Ivar just helps her out, you know, time and time again, and tells her about the times and everything. It was like I was reading a history book or something. And then they're having this long talk together about, you know, who he is and where he's come from and how he's a time traveler. It's like a long dialogue, so I don't want to give too much away. And there's actually a part where he meets himself, because they like both do time travels, so there's, I guess, more than one. So, you know, he's saying, you know, I made mistakes, and basically he uses her to help him from not making any more mistakes. And we get a new villain, of course, in the book.
It turns out it might be her.
Well, no, not the real her.
Oh, it's her younger self. Oh, so he's trying to prevent...
No. It's her
Older.
Older, yes.
So he's trying to prevent this girl from turning dark. Oh.
Well, also to help him from not making mistakes as well.
Oh, and this is a full issue because issue 2 comes in February.
I told you it was a full issue.
Ah, this looks very interesting. Actually, I gotta look into that later.
So see, now you know. You know it's after about G.I. Joe.
Shut your mouth. The Valiants, or the Valiant, I should say.
Yeah.
Issue number 2 now. This is a book where you need to know the characters from Valiant in order to understand the book.
Yes. So in this comic book, it was really more of the inner dialogue, kind of, where...
Well, there's the Eternal Warrior.
The Eternal Warrior and
Ninjak.
I know the characters. So both of them are going to work together to do this mission. And there's this girl, they actually... go up. What was her name? Kay. And Kay has this really interesting story that she... her father told about, which was Mr. Flay. And he actually meets...
Kay and Flay?
Yeah. And she meets up with him, you know, because she's not afraid about him anymore, because she was a little girl when her father told her this story. And Mr. Flay is one bad character, in a disgusting way, I'm saying. And she tries to kill her, but the Eternal Warrior and Ninjak... See, Ninjak has a fear of going after Mr. Flay, and it's actually explained, so I'm not going to give too much away of why. If you want to know, read the book. And they're both trying to go after Mr. Flay over all this and stuff like that. And Ninjak shows emotion of his fear. And the artwork, I was in awe with the artwork for Ninjak's character when he fought against him. And the whole thing of learning about Kay and everything else was just wow. And also, I think it's Bloodshot? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he appears in this and actually teams up with Kay and just says, you know, we have to move on, just don't ask why. And then there was a whole thing with Livewire, what happens. It's just like a little short scene of basically the headquarters having a few ideas of what she should do. So...
And that's where it's left off.
Yeah, so this book was really good. I really... enjoy the book. As long as what he says, if you know the characters, then yeah, you'll definitely enjoy it. Now, Unity issue...
Unity 14.
Yeah. This book, I wasn't really too sure. There was one thing that annoyed me about this book. In every page, there was like these 3 pictures on the bottom that had... it was like a Today Show or something that had...
That's Eternal Warrior. Gillett is the Eternal Warrior.
Yeah, Gillett the Eternal Warrior. I didn't really bother reading it because it was like this long, almost for every part of it, and it wasn't really something...
Probably had something to do with what's going on in the book.
No, like it did, like some about a virus that happened and everything, and Faith is actually trying to help out with the team.
Wait a minute. Gillett? Maybe that's Exo.
That is Gillett.
Maybe it's Exo.
No, Exo is Arik.
Right, okay, yeah, it is.
No, Gillett, you were right.
I don't know why, but his hair looks like Arik. The artist draws him a lot like Arik.
I thought so too at first, but no, it's Arik, the Exo Manowar. Oh, God. Anyway, getting into the book. So, as everything happens and Faith trying to do her job, she actually quits Unity. And you find out at almost the end of the book and everything. And... I just didn't bother reading the 3 little panels on the bottom because it really, like, I could tell what happens without even reading it. Like, there's just this whole big virus thing that's happening, and Ninjak also appears in this book as well, trying to help out, and this robot as well is just trying to take over everything of what's going on, and they're just trying to just do what they do, which is just save the city from... before self-destruction. And that's really just the whole gist of the book. Now, the next issue says the end of Unity with a question mark, which I don't think it's going to be the end.
It's never the end.
It's never the end for that.
Okay, Quantum and Woody Must Die, issue number 1. The next Quantum and Woody story,
I found this to be hilarious, actually, in some parts, though. I could sum this up in like 2 sentences. Basically, Quantum and Woody are facing off against the twins, and during that fight scene, they are exposed to this toxic waste that actually affects one of the people who they were fighting against. And, you know, the toxic waste was how can I say this? It like turned them into an animal, and
Okay.
one of them actually got them hospitalized. So they're trying now to find a way of how it can be cured. Oh no, one of them turned into a mutated character. I apologize, a mutated creature, and the other one was hospitalized. And they're trying to figure out, okay, how are we gonna get all this? And they got framed from what happened, and that's where the guy in the end says, Kwame and Woody, you know, they must die, because the guy found out what happened, as well as all this stuff. There was a lot of dialogue, but I really found this to be interesting, and some of the parts were fun.
This is a strong week for Valiant. We have Exo Manowar,
Yes.
issue number 32 as well. Now, this is my favorite book.
I want to tell you what my favorite part was.
The artwork? It's the artwork.
The artwork,
It's
yes.
great.
But remember when Eric had that thing in his ear?
Yeah.
A little assistance helped him repair his ear, and he went back into action, and he just beat the snot out of the character that just got him. And I just liked how he's like saying, you know, I have the warrior in me, and you can't take me down that easily. Best part of the book. Just him just getting back, just getting all the three men out, and just...
Exo kicks ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Eric, I admire his character, because he just keeps coming back like a warrior he is, and Late Colonel is actually saying, you know, just stop him because he's going to destroy the facility. So they take their fight outside then. It's like saying, excuse me, but would you like to step outside? Superman reference? Yeah. So they take their fight outside and stuff like that, and the artwork is great. Just really spot on great. And so then as the issue continues, it goes into Eric's character, and then excuse me, and that's it. Be right back.
Okay, and we're back again.
Again.
And let's hope that this will be the only back again that we do.
Again.
We're going into Dynamite now again.
Okay, you can stop
Big
now.
Trouble in Little China, issue number 8. How was it?
Alright. This one was actually, it was more like an ending book, kind of, because, basically, why do I forget his name? I think Johnny, his name is? Yeah. Well, it first talks about the Emperor Ming, who goes after, the female character was in the last, issue. And there's just this whole big... First of all, the artwork, I think, changed for kind of a sketchy-ish way. And basically, Johnny and his friends are going after Emperor Ming's army, who goes after him. And then he actually has to fight against his primate friend. I forgot what his name was. Pete, actually. But he just... doesn't like that he has to do that, because they were friends since the first issue and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it really felt like the end, because Emperor Ming, because I could shorten it out, skipping all the fight scene, it was like he was destroyed, and then that was it. Just I mean, I didn't think Emperor Ming was going to be destroyed that easily. You know, just thinking that he won after he attacked Johnny. There was a whole Soul thing where they brought Johnny, sort of back, but he's actually in another world. That's not heaven, probably. So we'll actually find on the next issue where he is and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did kill Emperor Ming, but the story still continues.
Jack, by the way.
Jack, yeah. I thought it was Johnny. He looks like a Johnny. So, Jack Bird and Emperor Ming are going to have a little bit of a fun time together.
Michael likes the word Johnny.
Yeah, so do you.
Alright. The Phantom issue... No, it says the King Phantom, but I just see King Dynamite, the Phantom issue number 1, guest starring Mandrake the Magician. Now, the Phantom has passed away in this issue. And... the next heir to the Phantom legacy still he's out there. The heir is out there, but somebody has to take over the mantle of the Phantom, and they do in this issue. until they find the heir to who is supposed to become the 33rd Phantom. Any fan of the Phantom knows about the Phantom. That is, they claim he is the dead man who walks or something like that, but it turns out it's really just the same family, and it goes from heir to heir to heir to heir. So I don't understand how they got through this one because the Phantom looks so different. But anyway, I thought this book was okay. I thought the artwork was alright, but honestly, halfway through the book, I just lost interest in it. I really did. For some reason, it's like, I know who the Phantom is, and the fact that that character is most likely dead, and this is taking place later on with somebody who's standing in as the Phantom. I don't know. You read through some of this. What did you think of it?
It was kind of like half and half. Like,
I haven't
like
read
you
a
said.
Phantom comic before this. I've actually watched the movie, though.
Yeah, like I thought it was just half and half. Really, like it was. Eh.
It was okay for what it was.
Yeah, like an okay, yeah. Basically of that.
Alright, so now we're going into Justice Inc. issue number 6.
Yes. This one I know is the final issue for that, because I'll tell you what happens in the end. So, basically Doc Savage and the Shadow, actually, are teaming up together to go on the mission, and of course, they have this code of not killing people, whereas, what's his name, Doc Savage and...
The Avenger?
Yeah, the Avenger, actually, who is actually in disguise of somebody to find out more evidence. So, because he does like all the shapeshifts and stuff. So, there's like this, like I didn't really like get the whole thing because it was like all over the place, and it was just like the Shadow just killing the people who the Avenger and Doc Savage was supposed to go against, and they didn't like that the Shadow does that, but the Shadow says, you know, this is what I do, I can't change of who I am, because that's his character. So all of the universes and everything has this big, huge turnaround and stuff like that, because we've been seeing lots of time switches and stuff. And then there's, I love the artwork, though. That was
Artwork
really...
is done masterfully.
Yeah. And they got rid of the main villain who was behind all this. I can't remember his name. It was somebody. Like, I can't remember. But they did find out, like, the whole thing. Like, it was kind of like a whole just team book where they team up with each other. And since I know their origin stories by their one-shots, in the end they just split and go into separate ways because that's it. Plus the fact that they don't go by the code of killing people. They just rather go on their merry ways doing things solo, and then that's where they part, yeah. And then there's an epilogue that leads in that going into the grave because Doc Savage, I think it's Doc Savage, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the Avenger?
No, the Avenger.
It's Benson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who sees the grave of himself because they think he's dead.
Coming soon, the Avengers Justice Inc. issue number 1.
Oh, the Avengers Justice Inc.
That looks interesting. I bet you're going to be excited for that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Alright, Flash Gordon issue number 8.
Yeah, this one... So Flash Gordon and his friends are on Earth, because they were traveling. And they're in Washington, D.C., where President Obama is. So they want them to make a speech at Washington, D.C. about the ship, because the ship's really the most famous part of the show. So Flash actually just wants to go into the ship to look for some, and his friends know that he's up to something, that he's just going to hightail and leave there. And they go to the verse where Naira's getting tortured by... Here you go up.
Isn't that Ming?
That was Emperor Ming. I said before, Little China was Emperor Ming. Oh, oops. Long story. I thought it was Emperor Ming from there, It was a long day. Anyway. So in this story, Emperor Ming shows up. Where Flash is fighting against him. to save the world, and then he dies in that one. Or so
a robot, it looks like.
Or looks like a robot.
Just don't say anybody dies anymore, Michael.
No, because you give me so many books, I can't remember everything.
We're in Dark Horse Comics now, and we're in Halo Escalation issue number 14. Now, I know you guys, I told you guys, I really wasn't feeling this book, and I wasn't going to really review it, but I did read it, so I'm going to give you a brief review. It continues on the story arc that the last issue, it continues where the last issue left off. Dr. Halsey teaming with the elite didac Jewel, how do you pronounce it? Jul.
That's Jewel.
Jewel. They're formulating a plan to bring the keys to them by making a fake artifact that looks like where the keys belong to. So they're basically tricking the UNSC into their little trap, but nobody's going to die. They just want the key. And we still don't know exactly what Halsey is doing and why she's working with the elites, or maybe we do, and it literally was explained in an issue that literally had too much dialogue. The action in this book, the artwork in this book are really great. It definitely has the Halo feel to it. There are elites in the ranks that don't believe in what Jewel and Halsey are doing and believe that it's sacrilegious. So you've got heretics within the elites, and they want the key as well. So it's a really good story, but again, it's something that if you're a fan of just the Halo universe in general, you'll enjoy it. If you're just a fan of the Master Chief, when you say Halo and you only think of the Master Chief, then you're not really going to be into Halo Escalation. But personally, for me, the artwork's really great. The action's really good. I enjoyed that the most. And the story is definitely good as well. So, something to think about.
This was my best digital book of this week.
Captain Midnight, issue number 19.
The throwdown between Captain Midnight and, I believe Chuck was his name. Yeah, Chuck. And mind you guys, from last issue, Chuck is in Captain Midnight's costume because he has the same costume as he does. So Chuck is like saying to Captain Midnight, you left me all these years ago and left me behind. Like, why'd you do that? And Captain Midnight's trying to explain to him, like what happened then, was back then and everything, but you're still my friend and we all had our, things that we had years ago and stuff like that. Like, and he's just saying, oh, wait, go up. Because he's like saying how he turned into this, and the Archon actually led him into being who he is and everything, with all of like never leaving him behind, which is he's trying to say like all this stuff is like after what you did is just what got me into this, but then after a while, knowing that everything was getting too out of control, they wind up teaming up with each other, but just for the short time because he does a so-called sacrifice. But I think that he's still gonna be alive for some reason, because he's I think he's gonna be somewhere in that part of it, and
the Archon is still around though.
Yeah, the Archon though is still around. So Captain Midnight.
Ooh, starting in the next issue, the final arc of Captain Midnight.
Our hero comes face to face with the Archon. It has Helios on the cover also. Well, for that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another book that Mike likes that's ending.
No, I know, you gotta say every book I touch, I know.
Okay. Fire and Stone Predator issue number 4 of 4, and I did find out today that each of the miniseries are getting their own solo trade paperback. So there are 4 trade paperbacks with all 4 parts in them. There's no big, gigantic Fire and Stone book. So it is a bit of a letdown, but at the same time I'll be getting them. I will also be purchasing a physical copy of the one-shot, since obviously the one-shot's going to be coming out after the trade paperbacks. I will be reviewing all of these series, miniseries on Comic Frontline as soon as I purchase the trade paperbacks. I don't know if I'll be getting them all at once or I'll be getting them little bits at a time. but I will say Fire and Stone was an awesome book. Predator is the grand finale, really, of the miniseries.
Right.
The Alpha book that's coming out in a week or two is the finale of the entire miniseries, but we'll get to that at the end of the book. So the Predator is now fighting the Engineer in this book. Awesome fight scene. Galago gets freed. He's supposed to help the Predator, and then he wusses out, just like he did in Alien vs. Predator, where he left the captain and her team behind completely, just like he did to his friend and what was that? His two friends in the beginning of the Predator miniseries. Basically, in the end, he's only thinking about himself. But then halfway through, he actually rethinks it. For the first time ever, he actually doesn't want to leave. He actually is angry at himself for once again turncoating and running like a chicken. So he actually goes back. The fight between the Predator and the Engineer is something you guys just have to see. The artwork was masterful. It was awesome. Galago comes back and saves the Predator just in time. However, at the sacrifice of his own ship. So Galago is now stuck on the planet with Angela and everybody else. And the Predator stuck with them also. So you've got Angela, you've got Galago, you've got the other two survivors from the team, I forgot their names, and the Predator now stuck on this planet on their own. But Galago has a gun, so he could protect everyone, well, the girls basically, from the aliens, and the Predator's out there just keeping himself busy, as they say. And then it says the end. However, next Fire and Stone Prometheus Omega. I'm sorry, it's not Alpha. Omega shows Galago, Angela, and the Predator all on the same cover. So obviously, the story is going to grand finale with Fire and Stone Prometheus Omega. And that is coming out, I believe, it's coming out the second week of February. I'll let you guys know now. The checklist, I believe, is right here. Yes. It is coming out the week of February 11th. So the second week of February, we will be getting the grand finale of all of the Fire. Okay, again, sorry for the little blip. We had a camera issue. We fixed it. Like I was saying in my conclusion with Fire and Stone Predator, the grand finale of the entire series of Fire and Stone Predator, Alien vs. Predator, Aliens, and Prometheus will all be ending the second week of February with Prometheus Omega. It will be titled Prometheus Fire and Stone Prometheus Omega. I will be getting a physical copy of that book, and hopefully I'll be getting the trade paperbacks for all the other miniseries, the other 4 miniseries soon. Maybe not right away. We'll see. It depends. If it's a light comic week, then absolutely. But like I said, I will definitely be getting them, and there will be Comic Book Corner reviews for each of those on Comic Frontline. So we are now in IDW Angry Birds Comics issue number 8. How was it, Mike?
As always, really great to read. Like, the first story is the broken slingshot where the yellow bird breaks the slingshot, and Red doesn't get like too mad about first, just saying, you know, for the 3 blue birds and Matilda to go find something. So as they find something, you know, the yellow bird's like saying, hey, look, I could do without the slingshot and everything, and then it winds up we broke the slingshot completely, which is when he gets very mad, like saying, you know, we are doomed and everything because it's, you know, they use it against the pigs and everything. So to get it fixed and everything, they go to actually the green pigs for a solution about it. Because they have the slingshot, all the broken pieces, and glue it back together. So what they do is use a sock to get into the green pigs' village to take back the slingshot back to their place where they could use it against them and stuff like that. And, well, like always, the king's never pleased about that. Now, the second story, I hate when you go fast. Go up.
It isn't the second story.
It is. Pair of Kings. And in this story, it's where the king gives someone else his job because they look alike and everything. And what he does, unlike the normal king, he throws parties and gives them like stuff to eat and stuff like that. And the king's like, whoa, whoa, I don't do that. So he comes back in because they miss the whole strict rules that the king used to do, because it was kind of creeping them out that the king was being nice, whereas they liked it at first, but then after a while, like saying, okay, we need him back, and so he came back.
All right, now we're in Angry Birds Transformers, issue number 3.
You know, to be honest with you, I see this book as Angry Birds as a Transformers because, like when you did Ghostbusters and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Collide, like stuff like that, it had both of them. This one is just strictly Angry Birds as the Transformers. No Transformers come in at all. It's just them being the Transformers. So that's why I think it should be as the Transformers, because what they're doing is that they're trying to go up against the mechanical eggs that are going after them. And what they're trying to do is come up with a plan to defeat them. And it's also teaming up with the Green Pigs, which they don't like to do, but they have to team up. And ironically, they use the slingshot. It's really ironic I say that because I just wrote... let's try this again. I just told you the story about the broken slingshot. I read this after the normal one. So they try to use that, and it's just a whole thing where, you know, the whole Trons versing against each other and then against the eggs, and it's just a whole big thing, but things are getting a little bit complicated and stuff.
Mm.
So minus just thinking of what the tiles should have been and everything, I really thought it was pretty interesting. This book I'm surprised you didn't read because you love animals. I didn't have a chance.
Creature Cops, issue number 1.
Yeah, and basically there are these cops that go after these mutated animals that, well, first of all, there's these characters who work with each other. And you get a little bit of a
rundown of everybody.
Rundown of who they are. I like, what's her character?
Vasquez?
No, Gabby, who is better with animals than people. I got that was something. So it's just them, you know, just getting together and trying to figure out, you know, because there's going to be a meeting of somewhat. So what this meeting is that there are these mutant animals that are just going everywhere. So one of them goes after a dog who looks like a rhino, and it's actually the owner who he knows of. And then there's this tiger who is just going rampage with all these big giant rats or something, or moles. I think they're moles. Or something like that. And then the other one where they're going up against...
Oh, it's a griffin.
Yeah, a griffin is what they go up against. And in the last issue, there was just a bear on a dead body. So what I could say is that it's just mutated animals, and the team who they're teaming up with is going after them and trying to, you know, solve the problem of being, like, not that destructive and chaotic with all these animals roaming around everywhere. So that's what basically the gist of this book's about. And knowing that you love animals, that's why I said
definitely.
It was something.
All right, we got the next Cartoon Network crossover, the Powerpuff Girls Super Smash Up, issue number 1.
Yeah, and
this with Dexter in this one.
Yeah, the Powerpuff Girls are crossover with Dexter because Dexter invited the Powerpuff Girls' professor to give them a whole lecture tour of the laboratory, or laboratory as he says it. So what he asks of the professor is to give him Chemical X, which is what formed the Powerpuff Girls, to experiment in. And I said, wait a minute, either he's a morph of somebody or something's going to happen after hearing that. So he talks about, you know, about his laboratory and how Dee Dee comes in and his whole Dee Dee, get out of my laboratory and everything else. And she shows a dance. She slips and falls and the Chemical X on the table spills on her. And she turns into this humongous, disgusting animal that goes rampage over the whole lab, and she escapes.
But she escapes into the multiverse.
Yeah.
The Cartoon Network multiverse.
Right, as we continued with the Adventure of Courage the Cowardly Dog, which they do show a little preview of that, where this hero's going after the cows, saying, you know, these cows, they're not cows, they're just these mutated thingamajiggers, and Courage is just standing back, just watching the whole thing. It was just really funny. And then there's a little bio of Dexter and Dee Dee.
And that's the end.
So yeah, that was really something. I'm looking forward to seeing how this multiverse is going to be like.
Now, while I'm not reviewing much of the Transformer main books right now, I did start reviewing this book and I want to end it. The Transformers Drift Empire of Stone issue number 3. There's one issue, I believe, after this. So we find out that Killer Bat is resurrecting the Stone Warriors, but by using parts from Decepticons that basically he is butchering. So it's up to Ratchet and Drift to stop him. And, of course, after the long explanation of what he's doing, the Decepticon that they brought back to the planet in the first place actually comes back to help them against Hellbat. Huge fight breaks out. Long story short, after everything that goes on, he's able to revive most of the Stone Warriors. But he wants to do it to take out Gigatron and everyone else, basically. So, Drift runs to Gigatron for help. Huge fight there. Gigatron goes into his robot, his dragon mode or whatever, which was freaking awesome. And Drift basically, the end of the book basically has Drift saying, "Look, we're doing this my way, and we gotta take down Hellbat once and for all, and you're gonna help us, Gigatron," and that's it. Any questions? Wow. And it ends right there. And I think that was awesome. The artwork was great. The story was really good.
Was great, yeah.
Not a lot of dialogue. I mean, there was a lot at the beginning. Explaining what Hellbat was doing, but after that, it was just straight up awesome. And I'll tell you the truth, the main Transformer books could take a lesson from this book because it was awesome, straight to the point. The action was great, not too much dialogue, and not too much confusion. Right. Doberman, issue number 5 of 5, the final.
Frank Doberman. I just like this book. So it starts off where Doberman with Newton, who sees that there's someone at the door, which was the psychologist, who's trying to help Frank recover after what he's doing and everything. So, with knowing about what Casper Kane is doing with the dogs with the drugs, he tries to get evidence about that, and then he's like saying, so you guys got all the evidence, la-di-da, and take your camera and just wreck the whole thing so that way they don't have evidence towards that. So Frank Doberman, he gets out of the real tough situation. Newton really helped him out throughout the whole issue. And there's a code thing like, never to kick them between the legs and stuff like that. And he actually breaks the code by actually biting it. He's like saying, "Oh, it tastes interesting." I'm like, okay. Then there was one part of the book where he gives Newton the gun that belonged to Hawk, who was his partner before that, because they're like officially partners and stuff like that. Oh no, actually, yeah, this was the part where he breaks the code, because he wants to just kill Jasper Kane. Someone was actually working with him. Now, I'm not gonna tell you who it is because that was a huge twist.
Yeah. Of
who did that, and that's the part right there. Oh, he said it tastes like chicken, actually. Like a Timon from Lion King phrase. So then he gets to Jasper Kane, and then he, like Jasper Kane tries to throw everything at Frank, and he's like saying, "Yeah, now on my watch," and just really gets someone in handcuffs. He was going to kill him with rage, but after the psychologist told him, don't use rage, he brought him to justice.
I love how he got shot, and everybody's like, "Oh, didn't know you had a bulletproof vest on." He's like, "I'm not wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm actually in an incredible amount of pain right now."
Yeah, and then he asks for Noon, like, saying, "What's your blood P positive?" Like, saying, "That's close enough. I'm going to need some." I thought that was, like, really funny. I really hope they make more of this because I love the adventure of
Yeah, this was a good story. I liked it. I'm hoping they do more of it, too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that was, like, my second favorite digital book for this week.
Alright, now with no more breaks, that's it for this indie review. We had so many books, guys. Feel free to leave comments below.
Don't do it again.
You're welcome. Likes, dislikes, comments, recommendations. We love them all, and we will answer your guys' comments in the comments below. And until next time, everybody, don't forget to check out comic-related Comic Frontline Zone 4 podcast and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And we'll see you guys really soon. Literally, in 5 minutes, we will be recording the Big 2 review, which hopefully will upload early. If not, it will definitely be up hopefully by Monday night. So all of this should be up by Monday evening. All the episodes. So until then, take care, keep reading, keep collecting. We'll see you guys in the next review.
Later, everybody.